Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
A few years back, nobody could have imagined that robots can be this hyper-realistic. But AI and breakthrough robotics technology have made humanoid robots a reality. So today, I am going to show you some of the most realistic human-like robots. This is a mecha, designed by a Cornwall-based firm. It is designed specifically for human-machine interactions. Just look at the subtle human expressions she's exhibiting. Sophia is a social humanoid robot developed by the Hong Kong-based firm called Hanson Robotics. It's designed to mimic social behavior. Meet Alex, a humanoid robot that can exhibit 600 human facial expressions. Designed by 3 friends in Russia, this bot can cost you a whopping $8 million. And finally, we have these hyper-realistic bionic robots, designed by EX Robotics. These bots look so lifelike that it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, they are super crazy lifelike. They're just getting more and more lifelike. Every single time they show one, they're like, oh, look, here's this one. And you're like, that's crazy. Why does it so lifelike? I mean, it still sits a little bit in that uncanny valley where it's not quite human, but it's got like everything, hairs, little pores, and like scars on their faces, and like normal stuff.
我们的机器人员工已经开始量产了。
Why do we need so many lifelike, robots? Why do they have to look like a person? I mean, I understand like jobs being replaced by robotics, but those they're just like a mechanical arm doing the job, right? But why do they need to look like a person? Are they going to take like hosts and hostesses and replace them with people? They probably are. It wouldn't surprise me. Actually, I just heard about a restaurant that's nearby that they have a little robot, but it's like a little box robot. It's not a normal robot. Or well, it is a normal robot, and it brings your drinks. I mean, that's not like a face robot though. So, but still, it's a lot of robots. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. Please hit that like button for me so this video can get recommended to more people. And if this is your type of content, consider subscribing and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
Should squatters have rights? Not as in human rights, but squatting rights. It's been conflated a lot today, so I just wanted to make that clear.
I think we should abolish private property.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think anyone should be able to own property?
I think that as things exist, squatting should be allowed because people own property. Property shouldn't just sit empty, and if they are, they should be seized by people who need them. We should work towards a world where people can have housing that's not based on how much money you have or how much access to capital or resources. It should just be a basic resource. And so if squatting is a means to like obtain that necessary right, that like intrinsic dignified right, which is not a human right, but access to housing is. And squatting as something that's illegal, I think the legality of it should be usurped for the necessity of access to material resources like housing.
All right, I think this girl is a little bit out of her mind. She's clearly saying things that she thinks people want to hear. Because this part wasn't in there, unfortunately, he goes on to ask her if she has a car. And she says yes. And he said, well, what if someone just came and took your car? And she's like, well, that's not good. I have, because that's my car and I need it. Well, people have houses and they need them. And just because they step out to go to the grocery store doesn't mean that somebody else could come in and use their house while they're not there and then end up taking it from them.
A Venezuelan migrant is attempting to invade American homes using squatters' rights.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States, ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
The Venezuelan migrant claims that his friends have already taken over 7 homes and is encouraging other migrants to do the same.
Amigos africanos, y me dijeron que ya llevan como 7 casas
The Venezuelan migrant claims that the only way him and his fellow migrants can escape living on the streets is by invading unoccupied homes.
La única manera que tenemos para no vivir en la calle y no ser una carga pública. ¿Capiche?
The disgusting part is that he's not wrong. This behavior is being permitted. Not only is this behavior being permitted, but these people are still being housed, in these hotels, these luxury hotels where they're catered to and given money. And it just pisses me off. And then if you do get someone that moves into your house and just takes over, you have to go through a lengthy process in order to evict them. And you could end up with something like this. They straight took the water heater. That actually happens quite a bit, especially in California where that particular one was. People get into a property and if they're not working to support themselves, you find that they just don't care about things that are not theirs. And it's not everybody, but it is more often than not that these homeless individuals have serious mental health issues and or are on illicit substances, which does create that kind of behavior where they do not care about anything, not even themselves. So they don't care for properties. They just move in and then they turn it into what they just use it. And it's sad. And it is what happens. And then they're just freaking allowed to do it. And you have to go through this, like I said, a lengthy eviction process.
So did you hear about this? Apparently Canada is preparing its own Canadian citizens that the United States of America may be inevitably heading towards our next civil war. Yes, our maple-loving neighbors to the north are so freaked out at the idea that us in the United States, we can't agree on anything. There's so much social and political unrest, and especially with this upcoming presidential election about to go down, they are telling their citizens to brace for the fact that we may be headed towards our sequel to the American Civil War, which when you really think about it, is it that crazy for our Canadian friends to be doing that? When you think about the civil, social, political unrest that is going on in our communities, right? People who hate Republicans, people who hate Democrats. Like with this upcoming election going on, it really makes you think that something may go down on an insane level, because if you think about our recent presidential elections ever since 2016, they've just been collectively getting worse and worse as things are going on. So it's not really that out of the realm of possibility to believe that when this election comes up, regardless of the result, whether Trump wins or Biden wins, that there might be some crazy shit that goes down. Because let's be real here, tensions are the highest they have ever been in our country between people who are on the left and people who are on the right. Nobody can agree on anything. There is such a hardcore line filled with nothing but hate and disgust for the other side. So it really does make you wonder that whatever happens this November, whoever gets elected, it really does feel like there might be something that goes down on an insane level. Will that be a full-blown civil war? I really don't know. It might happen. It might not happen. Maybe Canada's just being a little weird in telling their citizens that. I'm sure they got enough issues of their own that they need to work through. But the point of the fact is that, yeah, it is kind of scary to think about that another country is telling their own citizens, hey, those crazy ass Americans down below, yeah, they might be headed for another civil war, so let's be prepared for that.
Our civil unrest is so amplified. Like, it is widely broadcast on like the television and throughout our social media when people go and they protest and then they have counter protests, and it is just so, focused on, hyper focused even. Of course our neighbors would think that we're going to have a civil war when that's what they see from the outside is what we put on display. These huge, arguments between people, and it's just getting more and more heated. Like it goes from, oh, hey, no, picketing a little bit, to demolishing a neighborhood over what I think or what you think. It's no wonder our neighbors are concerned. But you know what? It's not just our neighbors. It's our people as well.
50% of Americans expect another civil war in the next few years, according to a study done by UC Davis. That is a shocking statistic, but is it really surprising? If you turn on MSNBC, watch political TikToks, browse QAnon subreddits for more than 5 minutes, you'll see how mentally deranged all of us have become when it comes to politics. Next year, whether you like it or not, Trump will likely lose the presidency, which will launch us into another round of stop the steal. What if it got so bad that certain conservative parts of the country tried to secede from the US once again? Now, if Trump were to win the election and California tried this shit, I kind of think Trump would probably just be like, all right, see you later, and that would be the end of it. But if Biden were in power and red states who liberals already consider to be full of deplorables and fascists tried to leave, do you think the Democratic Party would really let that happen without sending in troops to stabilize the situation? And if troops are sent in and things become violent, and we literally have A, a proxy war in Ukraine, B, a potentially real war in Israel, and C, a war at home, how much longer do you think our great American experiment really hangs on for?
What do you think? Do you think we're headed towards another civil war? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to know your opinion.
Project Veritas has obtained never-before-seen military documents regarding the origins of COVID-19, gain-of-function research, vaccines, potential treatments which have been suppressed, and the government's effort to conceal all of this. Dr. Anthony Fauci has testified many times before Congress, stating that the U.S. government was never involved in gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
They gained in lethality. It's a new virus. That's not gain of function?
According to the definition that is currently operable.
We're not going to get anywhere close to trying to prevent another lab leak of this dangerous sort of experiment. You won't admit that it's dangerous, and for that lack of judgment, I think it's time that you resign.
That assertion is based on the NIH's definition of gain of function. However, the documents we've obtained refute that. The documents in question stem from a report at the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, better known as DARPA, which were hidden in a top-secret share drive. But what is DARPA? They are an agency under the U.S. Department of Defense, which facilitates research and technology with potential military applications. Project Veritas has obtained a separate report to the Inspector General of the Department of Defense, written by the U.S. Marine Corps Major Joseph Murphy, a former DARPA fellow. Major Murphy makes claims in his report to the Inspector General that, if true, could be damning to the official narrative that has been played out to the world over the past 2 years. Major Murphy's report states that EcoHealth Alliance approached DARPA in March 2018, seeking funding to conduct gain-of-function research of bat-borne coronaviruses. DARPA rejected the proposal because the work was too dangerous and could violate the gain-of-function moratorium, despite EcoHealth's position that it would not. According to the documents, the NIAID, under the direction of Dr. Fauci, did not reject the proposal. They went ahead with the research at Wuhan and several sites across the U.S.
So here's the question. If the Department of Defense, the same people who make our nuclear arsenal, felt this research was too dangerous to proceed with, why in the world did the NIH, NIAID, and EcoHealth Alliance recklessly disregard the risks involved?
But if I do, I'll have my video taken down for medical misinformation. So there's that. On that note, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some different stuff. I'll say new things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Hey, if you're still here, I'm going to assume you're one of my regular viewers. And thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. I really appreciate every single second of your time. You are why I get up and I do this every day. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If there's anything that I could do that would help improve my channel so that we can get a larger viewership, please tell me down in the comments below. I'd really love to know what I can do to help my channel grow. And once again, thank you so much for sticking with me. I appreciate you. Now, go have that wonderful day.